The wind didn't just howl, it screamed. It tore across the endless white landscape like a living thing, clawing at everything in its path. Snow whipped through the air in violent spirals, erasing footprints, swallowing direction, and turning the world into a blinding void. And somewhere in that merciless storm was Elena Voss. Alone. Completely alone. Elena had always been drawn to the cold. While others feared isolation, she embraced it. A survival expert, documentary researcher, and former Arctic guide, she had spent years studying the most unforgiving places on Earth. The Arctic wasn't just a location to her. It was a test of human limits. But even she hadn't planned for this. It had started as a routine expedition. A small research team, a temporary ice camp, satellite communication, emergency supplies, everything calculated, everything controlled. Until the storm came.
It hit faster than anyone predicted. One moment, the sky was pale gray. The next, it collapsed into chaos. Winds reached deadly speeds. Equipment was ripped from the ground. Tents snapped like paper. Visibility dropped to 0. "Stay together!" someone had shouted. But nature doesn't care about commands. In the confusion, Elena was separated. One wrong step, one moment of blindness, and just like that, she was gone from the group. At first, she wasn't afraid. She had been trained for this. She checked her gear, thermal suit intact, gloves secure, emergency pack still strapped to her back. Her breathing was controlled, her mind sharp. Find shelter, conserve energy, stay calm. The rules echoed in her head like a mantra. But the Arctic had its own rules, and it was about to break all of hers. Hours passed. Or maybe it was minutes. Time didn't exist out here. The storm blurred everything. The sky, the ground, even her thoughts. Every direction looked the same. Every step felt heavier than the last. Then she saw it. A shadow through the snow. A rock formation. Hope. She stumbled toward it, her legs barely responding, her fingers already beginning to numb despite her insulated gloves. Behind the rocks, there was a small natural hollow, a shallow shelter from the wind. It wasn't much, but it was enough to survive the night. That night was the longest of her life. The temperature dropped lower than she had ever experienced. The cold wasn't just outside, it crawled inside her body, wrapping around her bones, tightening with every passing hour. She couldn't sleep. Sleep meant death. Instead, she moved constantly. Small, controlled movements to keep her blood flowing. Her breath formed crystals in the air. Her eyelashes froze together every time she blinked. And the silence? When the storm finally eased,
The silence was worse. It was absolute. Heavy. Like the world had ended. Morning came, but it brought no comfort. Only reality. No team. No camp. No signal. Her communication device was dead. Frozen beyond function. She was truly on her own. Elena stood there, staring at the endless white horizon. For the first time, doubt crept in. Not panic, not yet, but something quieter, more dangerous. What if no one finds me? She pushed the thought away. Survival wasn't about fear. It was about decisions. And she needed to make one. Stay and wait, or move.
Her training told her to stay, but her instincts said otherwise. The Arctic wasn't static. Ice shifted, weather changed, camps moved. If she stayed in the wrong place, rescue teams might never find her. So she chose to walk. Each step was a battle. The snow was deep, uneven. Hidden cracks beneath the surface threatened to swallow her whole. The cold gnawed at her strength, draining energy faster than she could replace it. She rationed her supplies carefully. A small piece of food, a sip of melted snow. Every decision calculated, every mistake fatal. By the third day, the hunger began to change her. It wasn't just physical anymore. It became a voice, a constant whisper in her mind. Stop walking. Lie down. Rest. But she knew that voice. It was the same voice that claimed lives in the Arctic every year. The voice that sounded gentle, but meant death. So she kept moving. Even when her legs shook. Even when her vision blurred. Even when her body begged her to quit. Then came the ice field. Endless, flat, deceptively calm. But Elena knew better. This was where the Arctic was most dangerous. Beneath that smooth surface could be freezing water. One wrong step, and it would be over in seconds. She tested each step carefully. Slow, deliberate, listening for cracks, feeling for weakness. The wind had returned, softer now, but still relentless, pushing her, distracting her, trying to force a mistake. Halfway across, it happened. A sound. A sharp, terrifying crack beneath her foot. Elena froze. Her heart pounded so loudly she could hear it over the wind. The ice beneath her shifted slightly. Another crack. Louder. Closer. She didn't move. Not even an inch. Because she knew the next step could be her last. The crack spread like lightning beneath her boots. Elena didn't breathe, didn't blink, didn't even think. Because thinking could lead to panic, and panic would get her killed. The ice groaned beneath her weight, a deep, hollow sound, like something alive beneath the surface, waiting,
watching. Shift your weight slowly. Her training whispered through the chaos in her mind. Not forward, not backward, down. She lowered herself carefully onto her knees, distributing her weight across the fragile ice. The cold bit instantly through her gear, sending a sharp shock through her body. But pain meant she was still alive, still fighting. Another crack, closer this time. A thin, jagged line shot outward from beneath her leg. Elena clenched her jaw. Don't rush. Every instinct screamed at her to run, to get off the ice as fast as possible. But she knew better. Speed would shatter it. Patience might save her. Inch by inch, she began to crawl. Each movement slow, controlled, measured. Her gloves scraped against the frozen surface, searching for stability. The wind picked up again, as if the Arctic itself was testing her resolve. Then, a sharp snap. Her left hand plunged through. The water was instant death. Freezing, violent, unforgiving. It surged around her arm like a predator, pulling heat from her body in seconds. The shock stole her breath, locking her chest. For a moment, she couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't fight. No. The word wasn't spoken. It was felt, deep inside her. A refusal. With a surge of adrenaline, Elena yanked her arm free, rolling her body across the ice to spread her weight. The surface cracked again, but held. Barely. Her arm was already going numb. She could feel the cold racing upward, invading her muscles, stiffening her fingers. She needed heat. Now. Forcing herself forward, she crawled faster, still careful, but no longer slow. The ice beneath her creaked and shifted, threatening to collapse at any second. But then, solid ground. She rolled onto the snow-covered edge of the ice field, gasping for air, her body shaking violently. For a moment, she just lay there, staring at the gray sky, listening to her heartbeat. Then, survival kicked in again. Move. She pushed herself up, ignoring the burning pain in her arm. If she stopped now, hypothermia would take her. And it wouldn't be a fight. It would be quiet, peaceful, deadly. She couldn't let that happen. Alina forced her frozen fingers to work, digging into her pack. She pulled out a small emergency thermal wrap and wrapped it tightly around her arm, trying to trap what little heat remained. But it wasn't enough. She needed a fire. The problem? There was nothing to burn. No trees, no dry material, nothing but endless snow and ice. Her eyes scanned the horizon desperately. Then she saw it. Far in the distance, a dark shape, first, she thought it was a rock. Then, it moved. Her heart stopped. A polar bear. Massive. Silent. Watching her. For a moment, the world froze again. But this time, it wasn't the cold. It was fear. Raw. Primal. Unavoidable.
The bear stood still, its white fur blending almost perfectly with the frozen landscape, except for its black eyes, locked on her, studying, calculating. Elena didn't run. She couldn't. Running would trigger the chase, and she would lose. Instead, she stood her ground. Her body screamed at her to move, but she forced herself to stay still, to breathe, to think. Don't look weak. Her mind raced through everything she knew. Make yourself look bigger. Don't turn your back. Don't panic. The bear took a step forward. Slow, heavy, intentional. Elena raised her arms slightly, trying to appear larger despite her trembling body. Her injured arm protested sharply, but she ignored it. Pain didn't matter. Survival did. Another step. Closer now. Too close. The wind shifted, and with it, everything changed. The bear stopped, lifted its head, sniffed the air. Then suddenly, it turned and walked away. Just like that. Elena collapsed to her knees, her body finally giving in to the shock. She didn't understand why it left, didn't question it, didn't care. She was alive, but barely. The cold was winning. Her strength was fading. Her thoughts were slowing. And as the Arctic stretched endlessly before her once again, a new fear settled deep in her chest. Not the fear of dying, but the fear of disappearing, of becoming just another story, lost beneath the ice. The sky darkened hours before night truly arrived. In the Arctic, daylight was never something you could trust. It faded slowly, silently, until suddenly the world felt smaller, colder, more dangerous. Elena could feel it happening, not just around her, inside her. Her steps had slowed. What was once a determined march had become a fragile, dragging movement. Each footstep felt disconnected, like her body and mind were no longer fully working together. Her injured arm had gone stiff, heavy, useless. Keep moving. Her voice cracked as she whispered it aloud. It didn't sound like her anymore. The wind had dropped again, leaving behind that terrifying silence. No storm, no movement, just her, and the
endless, frozen emptiness. That's when she saw it. A structure far ahead, barely visible through the dim light. Something broke the horizon line. Straight edges, dark shadows, unnatural. Her heart jumped. Not fear this time. Hope. She stumbled forward, forcing her body to respond. Her legs trembled violently, threatening to collapse with every step. But she pushed through it. Hope was stronger than pain. As she got closer, the shape became clearer. A small, abandoned research station. Half buried in snow. Weather-beaten. Forgotten. Elena almost laughed. Or maybe she cried. She couldn't tell anymore. The door was frozen shut. Of course it was. Nothing came easy here. She pressed her shoulder against it. Once. Twice. Nothing. Come on. Her voice broke into a desperate whisper. Summoning what little strength she had left, Elena stepped back and slammed her body into the door with everything she had. Crack! The ice seal broke. The door gave way just enough for her to force it open. She stumbled inside and collapsed. Darkness swallowed her. But it wasn't empty. It was shelter. The air inside was freezing, but still protected from the wind. The walls blocked the outside world, creating a fragile barrier between her and death. For a long moment, she didn't move, didn't think, didn't feel. Then instinct returned. Check supplies. She dragged herself across the frozen floor, her fingers scraping against metal surfaces, overturned equipment, broken shelves. Most of it was useless, old, destroyed. Then, a box. She pried it open with shaking hands. Inside, a miracle. Emergency rations. Old, but sealed. Still usable. Elena let out a breath that turned into a quiet sob. She ate slowly, forcing herself not to rush. Her body screamed for more, but she controlled it. Too much, too fast, it could make things worse. Next, heat. She searched again and found it. A small, portable fuel unit. Barely half full. It was enough. Maybe. Her hands shook violently as she worked to activate it. Her numb fingers struggled to grip, to twist, to press. But after what felt like forever, a spark. Then, flame. Small, weak, but alive. Elena stared at it like it was the most beautiful thing she had ever seen. Because it was. She moved closer, feeling the faint warmth brush against her skin. It wasn't much, but it was enough to slow the cold creeping through her body. Enough to give her a chance. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time still didn't exist. Her body began to relax slightly. Her breathing steadied. Her thoughts cleared. For the first time since the storm, she allowed herself to believe something dangerous. I might survive this. But survival wasn't just about the body. It was about the mind.
And hers was starting to slip. At first, it was small things. Shadows that didn't move correctly. Sounds that didn't belong. Then, voices. Elena. She froze. Her heart slammed against her chest. That wasn't the wind. Elena, over here. It was familiar. Too familiar. Her eyes slowly scanned the dark corners of the station. Nothing. But the voice came again. Closer this time. You're not alone. Her breath quickened. Her mind raced. She knew this wasn't real. It couldn't be. But in the Arctic, reality didn't always matter. Isolation did things to people. It bent thoughts, twisted perception, turned silence into something louder than sound. Elena. She covered her ears. Stop. But it didn't stop. And as the small flame flickered in the darkness, the line between survival and losing herself started to disappear. The voice didn't leave. It lingered. Soft, patient, waiting. Elena? She pressed her back against the cold metal wall, her breathing shallow, her eyes locked on the flickering flame. This isn't real, she whispered, but her voice lacked conviction. The Arctic had taken everything from her. Warmth, direction, time. Now it was coming for her mind. You remember me, don't you? Her chest tightened. That voice, it wasn't random. It wasn't unfamiliar. It was him. Her brother, Daniel. Elena's hands began to tremble, not from the cold this time, but from something deeper, something buried, something she had spent years trying to forget. You left me, the voice said softly. No, she whispered, shaking her head. But the memory was already rising, unstoppable. Years ago, another frozen place, another storm. She had been leading that expedition too, confident, experienced, certain. Daniel had trusted her, followed her, believed in her. And then, the ice broke. He fell. She still remembered the sound, that same crack, that same terrifying, hollow echo. I tried to save you, her voice broke. But the Arctic didn't care about trying. It only cared about surviving. You let go. Her eyes snapped shut. Stop! But the voice grew stronger, sharper. You chose yourself. The flame flickered violently, casting shadows that twisted across the walls, shapes that almost looked human. Almost. "I had no choice!" Elena shouted, her voice echoing through the empty station. Silence followed. Heavy. Judging. Then, you always have a choice. Her breath hitched. Her heart pounded harder than ever before. This wasn't just a memory anymore. It felt real. Too real. And that's what made it dangerous. Because if she gave in, if she believed it, she wouldn't fight anymore. Her eyes slowly opened, locked onto the flame again. "Focus," she whispered. Survival wasn't just physical. It was mental. And right now, this was the real battle. She forced herself to move, to break the paralysis. Elena stood up unsteadily, her legs weak but responsive. She began checking the station again, more thoroughly this time, opening every drawer, every cabinet, every broken container. Something to ground herself, something real. Then she found it. A radio. Old, dust-covered, but intact. Her heart jumped. With shaking hands, she grabbed it, wiping away frost and debris. The antenna was bent, but not broken. The battery compartment still had power. Small, fragile hope sparked inside her. She turned it on. Static. Loud. Chaotic. Endless. But it was something. She adjusted the frequency slowly, carefully, her fingers trembling as she turned the dial. Static. 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 Then, a sound. Faint, distant, a voice.
Anyone receiving, respond.
Elena froze, her entire body locked in place. It was real. Not in her head. Not the Arctic playing tricks. Real. "Hello?" she said quickly, her voice cracking. "Hello, this is Elena Voss. Can you hear me?" The signal broke. Static crashed back in. No, come on," she whispered desperately, adjusting the dial again. For a moment, nothing. Then, signal weak. Repeat. Tears filled her eyes instantly. "I'm here!" she shouted. "I'm alive! I'm at an abandoned station. I don't know the coordinates. I've been lost for days." The connection flickered. In and out. Like a heartbeat. Stay. Where? The signal died. Silence. Elena stared at the radio, her hands shaking uncontrollably. "They heard me," she whispered. Hope. Real hope. But hope in the Arctic came with a cost. Because now, she had to survive long enough to be found. And her body
was already reaching its limit. The flame began to shrink, the fuel running low. Outside, the wind started to rise again. Another storm was coming. And this time, she wasn't sure she had the strength to endure it. The wind returned like a warning. Low at first, a distant growl across the frozen emptiness. Elena didn't need to step outside to know. Another storm was coming. Stronger, colder, deadlier. She looked at the small flame in front of her. It flickered weakly, struggling, just like her. The fuel was nearly gone. "How long?" she whispered. "Minutes? An hour?" Not enough. Her eyes shifted to the radio. Silent now. Still. They heard me. The words felt fragile, like if she said them too loud, they would break. But hope alone wouldn't keep her alive. She needed to prepare. Elena forced herself to move again, ignoring the deep exhaustion pulling at her bones. Every muscle burned. Every joint felt stiff, slow, unreliable. Her body was shutting down. Piece by piece. No, not yet. She searched the station again, this time with urgency. Not just for food, not just for warmth, for anything that could buy her time. Her fingers brushed against something beneath a collapsed shelf. She pulled it free. A thick thermal blanket. Not new, but intact. A small victory. She wrapped it tightly around herself, trapping what little heat remained in her body. It wasn't enough to make her comfortable, but it might keep her alive. Outside, the storm hit. This time, it was worse. Much worse. The walls of the station rattled violently as the wind slammed into them. Snow pounded against the structure like waves against a sinking ship. The sound was deafening. Relentless. Elena flinched with every thud. It felt like the world was trying to break in, trying to reach her. The flame flickered harder. Weaker. No. She moved closer, shielding it with her body, as
if she could protect it from the storm itself. But she knew the truth. It wasn't the wind that would kill the flame. It was time.
And time was running out. Her breathing became heavier, slower. The warmth from the flame was fading. The cold began to creep back in. First, her fingers, then her toes, then deeper. She tried to move them. They barely responded. Stay awake. Her voice was barely a sound now. Her eyelids felt heavy, too heavy. No. She shook her head weakly, forcing her eyes open. She knew this feeling, this quiet pull, this false comfort, hypothermia. It didn't feel like death. It felt like rest, like peace, like letting go. And that's why it was so dangerous. Elena. The voice returned. Soft, gentle. She didn't fight it this time. Didn't react. Because part of her was too tired to care. You did enough. Her breathing slowed further. It's okay now. The flame flickered one last time. Then, darkness. The fire died. The cold rushed in instantly, filling the space like water flooding a sinking ship. Elena's body shivered violently at first. Then, less. Then, barely at all. Her thoughts became distant, blurry. Memories surfaced. Warm ones. Sunlight. Laughter. Voices she hadn't heard in years. Her lips moved slightly. A faint whisper. I'm sorry. The storm outside roared louder than ever. And far away, through the chaos of wind and snow, a sound. Faint. Distant. A helicopter? Or maybe just the wind. Elena's eyes fluttered. Half open. Unfocused. She couldn't tell anymore. Reality or illusion? Hope or the end? Her head slowly tilted to the side, her body finally going still. And as the storm swallowed everything around her, the question remained. Was she found? Or had the Arctic finally claimed her? Darkness wasn't empty. It was heavy, endless. Elena drifted inside it, weightless, silent, detached from the cold that had once consumed her. No pain, no fear, no struggle, just nothing. Then, a sound. Faint at first, like something breaking through layers of ice. There, I see movement. Her mind stirred. Barely. Another voice, louder, closer. Get the door open, hurry! Her fingers twitched, just slightly. Somewhere deep inside her,
something refused to let go. Light pierced through the darkness. Sharp, blinding. Her eyes fluttered weakly. Shapes moved above her. Blurred, unclear. She's alive! She's still breathing! Hands. Strong. Warm. Lifting her. Shaking her gently. Stay with us! Don't close your eyes! The voice echoed in her fading consciousness. Stay. Her lips parted slightly. A breath escaped. Weak. Broken. Cold air hit her face, but it wasn't the same anymore. It wasn't trying to kill her. It was changing. The storm outside was still raging, but now there were other sounds cutting through it. Rotors. Loud. Powerful. Real. They wrapped her in something warm. Thick. Protective. Her body didn't respond. But her mind was trying. You're safe now. Do you hear me? You're safe. Safe. The word felt unfamiliar, distant. As they carried her out of the station, the storm fought back. Wind screaming, snow blinding. But it was no longer stronger than everything else. Not anymore. For the first time, the Arctic was losing. Elena's eyes opened slightly, just enough to see the sky. Gray. Endless. But different now. Through the blur, she saw it. The helicopter above. Real. Not a dream. Not a hallucination. Real. A tear formed at the corner of her frozen eye. Not from pain. Not from fear. But from something she hadn't felt in days. Relief. Her body went limp as they lifted her inside. Voices continued around her, urgent, fast, determined. But they were fading again. You're going to make it. The words echoed as everything slowly slipped away once more. But this time, it wasn't the Arctic pulling her under. It was something else. Something quieter. Something safer. Blackness returned. But now, it felt different. Not like the end, like a pause. Somewhere between life and silence, one question still lingered. Would she wake up? Or was this rescue already too late? The darkness lingered. But this time, it wasn't cold. It wasn't empty. It was quiet. Then, a sound. Beep. 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 Slow.
steady, alive. Elena's eyelids trembled, heavy, unwilling. But something pulled her back. Not force, not fear. Something softer. Life. Her eyes opened. Just a fraction. Light flooded in. Warm, artificial, blinding in a completely different way than the Arctic had ever been. She blinked. Once, twice. Shapes formed. White walls. Machines. Movement. A voice. She's waking up. Elena's breath hitched. Weak, but real. Another voice, closer this time, gentler. Elena, can you hear me? She tried to speak. Nothing came out. Her throat burned. Her body felt distant, like it didn't belong to her anymore. But she was alive. Tears slowly rolled down the sides of her face. Warm tears. She could feel them. And that's when it hit her. The cold was gone. No wind, no storm, no endless white silence. She made it. Against everything. Against the Arctic. Against the cold. Against her own breaking mind. She survived. Days later, Elena sat by a window, wrapped in blankets, still fragile, still recovering. Outside, the world looked normal, almost unreal. People walking, cars moving, life continuing, like nothing had happened. But inside her, everything had changed. A doctor had told her the truth. Quietly, carefully. You were minutes away. Minutes. If the rescue team had been any later, if the signal hadn't gone through, if she had closed her eyes just a little longer, she wouldn't be here. Elena looked down at her hands, still slightly trembling, still healing. She remembered the storm, the ice cracking beneath her, the freezing water, the silence, the voices. Daniel. Her chest tightened. For years, she had carried that weight, that guilt, that moment. You let go. But now, she understood something she couldn't see before. She didn't let go because she was weak. She survived. And sometimes, survival is the hardest choice a person can make. A tear fell onto her hand. Not from pain, but from release. For the first time in years, the past didn't feel like a prison. It felt like something she had walked through, something she had endured. And somehow, she was still standing. A nurse approached quietly, smiling. You're a miracle, you know that? Elena looked up. Her voice was still weak, but this time, it carried strength. No. She paused. A small, tired smile forming on her lips. I just didn't give up.
The camera fades slowly to the endless Arctic once more. Silent, cold, unforgiving. But now, it tells a different story. Not of death, not of loss, but of a woman who faced the impossible and lived.